All right, guys, so let's start standing. So if we don't sit and meditate or lay and ground, if you come to my gentle yogas, we tend to start down there a lot more. We start in that postural awareness, right? So right from the start, you can close your eyes, start to feel your feet. Notice what I do. I start to like lift my heels and toes. I'm just using some subtle movements to kind of connect to the subtle awareness of the body. Okay, so I lift my heels and my toes. I feel all parts of my feet down. Then I want to try to run some awareness and activation up the thighs, even the calves, the shins, the knees, into the butt, the hips, the glutes, the back. The core starts to become more aware and almost active. Yeah, you can kind of like, again, same thing, roll your shoulders out a little bit, your wrists. It's kind of like your initial scan through the body. You're booting up, right? So I roll the shoulders eventually back and down. Okay, and I'm gonna lift the crown of the head straight up. And then I want to take it to that next tier, which is the breath work. All right, so the first kosha in yoga is that physical layer. So we just start with awareness there. The second layer is called the energy body, the pranamaya kosha, and that's usually considered like a lot of the breath. So now we bring our awareness to the breath. We're starting to connect, feel, meditate, and follow the breath. Much more intention in the breath. So the breath is not subconscious as you're walking around the kitchen or doing exercise. It becomes, the main focus for at least a few moments here. You're inhaling much deeper than normal. Exhaling much deeper than normal. The breath is much smoother and calmer than normal. And take a few more breaths just like that. Now, the third layer we start to become more aware of in the yoga self-study is the manomaya kosha. So it's the mind, particularly like the thoughts, the yogi says. It's like the thought body. So we start to notice the thoughts. How is the mind feeling? Is it busy? And then the vijnana kosha, the emotions, that's the next layer. They're all like closely related. So how your energy relates to your mind and then your body, your emotions. So they're all like quite connected there. So you're just starting to get some insight into the self. And then the emotions can relate to the spiritual self, things like gratitude and humility, tolerance. Emotions are closely can really change our kind of attitude and kind of characteristics. Okay, so we're going to start right to that kriya yoga, guys. So you kind of keep all this self-study going as we start to get more energy and movement in the body. Squat kriya. We should be doing this more, but at least once a week, right? Exhale, bend knees, reach down. Inhale, reach up, back bend, big arm circle. Exhale, inhale. If you want to hear my breath. Yogis, you don't always have to move slow. If you get into a pattern where your body is always moving slow, just be careful and notice that. Fast movement is not bad, okay? And it doesn't determine quality. Think about when you're like really excited or, having a best day of your life. You move really fast. You might like run, you're all giddy, you do move fast when you have like a lot of energy and when you're in a really positive mind state, really happy. So sometimes it's good if you're feeling up to it to move a little faster. Now that doesn't mean we're gonna lose self-awareness practice, breath work, form, and that's where like range of motion comes into play. I started going deep. I tend to demonstrate deeper so you can like clearly see it, see the full, but it can just be something like this, guys. It doesn't have to be deep. I'd rather have like form and quality self-awareness than depth. You'll work depth on a good day, and it depends on where you're at, like your level, injuries. So, don't feel like you have to go crazy if you're not feeling up to it today. Less range is more important. Right to the next exercise. Inhale, arms up. This is when I want you to intertwine your fingers. Let's bring the opposite pinky in front that you normally do. Okay, inhale, reach up. It's the double exhale now, so I want to think kind of like a modified Kapalabhati. Exhale, exhale, inhale. So it's one inhale, two exhale. Continue. Now, if it's too much, you have like the gentle kriya, feet hips width distance. It's just inhale, exhale, okay? Inhale, exhale. And if that's too much, we do stuff like this, guys. And like the really gentle classes, okay, where we're going like that, kind of tapping the outer thigh with that hand. You can see it's all really the same plane of movement, same kind of intention, just different levels of activity, strain, difficulty. So they're all good, you know. It doesn't matter if you always do the strong versions. I'd actually kind of rather have you not. All right, yogis, I'm going to keep going. Now we're going to go with the twist. So we're going to bend our knees here. So we did some squats, we did some side bends. Now I'm going to start to kind of squat. Now we're going to start that pivot. Look how my hands come in nice and strong. Okay, take a big inhale. And then what I'm going to do is kind of pivot to the front. Exhale. Inhale. Look how I pull my elbows back. Exhale. So it's kind of like this dance. Just notice it's a double pull. I got to start incorporating more pulls in yoga, guys. What we're doing is like a pull, and then it's a pull push, so the asymmetry. It's very symmetrical in the legs and the arms, very asymmetrical in the legs and the arms. If you want to try something even a little bit more, how about we try something else? Watch me here. So let's take high lunge to the front of our mat. We haven't done this one in a while. It's a fun one. So I'm going to inhale warrior one or high lunge. Watch me here. Exhale warrior two. Watch me here. Inhale. Look how I call the goddess. Exhale warrior two. Now facing the second side. Inhale warrior one facing the front. Exhale warrior two facing the front. Inhale goddess or Utthana Konasana. Exhale warrior two to face that first leg. Inhale warrior one to face the front leg. So remember, it is movement, guys. We are moving. Warrior two, exhale to face the first leg. Goddess pose, it's like an open symmetry. Activate those arms, okay? Exhale warrior two to face the second leg. Inhale warrior one to face the second leg. See if you can do it now. It's kind of like in the middle, there's that goddess symmetry. On the ends, there's that warrior one facing the two sides. And in the middle there, it's warrior two. So it's 5 little pieces strung together in beautiful movements and breath work. So how about we try that one today, a little bit different. We've done this before. It's just been a while. Last couple. It's kind of a nice way to, we want to move a lot. Let's get that energy moving. Heat is energy. So once you feel that heat in the body, that's a very just kind of type of energy you can really grasp and feel. Good to heat up that body in the morning, right? All right, guys, so I'm going to keep going. I just want to make sure I have enough time for this full practice today. I can kind of keep moving depending on how long you want. You do you, right? So feet about hips width distance. It's called hamstring tension. I'm going to start with the tight strength variation, a little bit more fluid stretching kind of movement after. Bend knees, inhale, weight in toes, keep spine long, hinge. Look at the long spine, the weight is more in the toes. So my hips aren't back here, they're more forward. Exhale, back up. It's really our first hip thrust. Squeeze the butt, push the hips forward. Inhale, hamstring tension, pause. Exhale, stand, squeeze your butt, your thighs, posterior tilt. Inhale, anterior tilt, more spinal extension. Exhale, a little bit more the posterior tilt. So this is almost like a cat-cow, yogis. If you watch me, this is my cow, this is my cat. You can almost see I go rounded. So it is that same kind of movement done bigger. Inhale, cow, exhale, cat. Inhale. A lot of times I see people, they're getting it, but not enough kind of awareness into that posterior tilt. So you can see my hips, when I come up, that's when I go down, that's when I come up. So it's that same thing, but done in that standing form without your hands on the ground. Now, that's the tension strength part. Watch what I do now. I'm going to inhale my arms up and back. So it is back bend. I'm going to exhale, bend the knees, arms up and over. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead. Yogis, our body's designed to move. Sometimes yoga practice, we're getting too rigid and stiff and slow. We want to make sure we maintain and enhance and monitor our body's ability to move. Think of a young body. It can move very freely, okay? And as we kind of grow, we lose the ability to move in the body. We don't want this, okay? So we're trying to, in a sense, you know, through movement practice, rejuvenate, rekindle that ability to move in complex, dynamic ways. Another nice way to do this, yogis, on a good day, once, twice a week, turn up your favorite music. No one's watching. You let loose dancing. That's a great way to get your movement therapy in, okay? So, all right, listen, guys, we've done some kind of stiff movements. I really want you to just shake it out for a moment. This is the Qigong shake. I used to teach this like a lot in class. It's kind of been a while, but it's really too good not to do. So look at me jumping. Okay, I'm actually jumping. I can actually do it like 1 foot at a time. I want you to shake that body out. You can even go like this. I'm not jumping anymore. I'm just kind of moving my hips. I basically want you to move fast, okay? Yeah, we got these certain types of muscle fibers, like the fast twitch they call them. You have like type A and type B. So you have multiple types of fast twitch muscles. You got those body parts, yogis. The body is evolved or created, designed, whatever you want to say, to move fast. And I think it's important that we, you know, show recognition to that and, you know, work that. Here we go. Big inhale. Widen your feet. Now, this is a little bit bigger of a movement here, okay? Arms gonna go wide. Big inhale. Go slow. Right hand toward outer left foot. Strong core and spine. This is core work, okay? Left hand toward right foot. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Posture. The star. Exhale. You got a few more only. Yeah, you know, this is actually pretty big, all right? Bending over in twist is a easy way to hurt your lower back temporarily, okay? You know, hurting yourself is, you see little kids, they're playing. That's what we're doing right now, right? We're having some fun. And you see kids, they'll kind of like run, they'll like fall hard, and they'll like, oh, for a moment, but then they're back to their game, right? So, you know, let's not let like injuries govern the whole practice or, you know, fear of injuries. Let's just take it moment by moment, try, and as something comes along unexpected, we work with it then. We get better at healing our bodies, okay? All right, let's keep going here, yogis. Step to the front of your mat. Just like a round or three of sun salutation, if you have it, full, big symmetry. Inhale, reach your arms up. Your pace. Exhale is the forward fold. If you know how to do this on your own, I really prefer that. Inhale, half lift. Now we're going to come back to high plank. I'm going to add a few extra push-ups here. It is the first time bearing weight on your arms. All right? So I'm going to shift forward, bend those elbows, straighten the elbows. Bend those elbows. Remember, you can go on the knees, yogis. Try to bring your hips more down into the plane of your shoulders and knees, because sometimes I see this. That's not it, okay? Try to bring the hips more forward and down, bring the chest more forward. When a push-up happens, guys, watch my chest, my shoulders in relation to my hands. I shift forward and down, then my body comes back and up. That's more of that yoga push-up where the hands are hugging in. You don't want the hands kind of coming right under the shoulders like this. It's more like this. Tough to see on the Zoom. All we're doing is planting seeds and more self-awareness and intention. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? You'll learn over time just by experience and kinesthetic practice. Now listen, take it down and inhale up to your first back bend. I'm feeling pretty good today, so I can go right into my cobra here. This is really called the Cobra 2 or full cobra. There's a third one too though, right? So roll the shoulders back and down, lift that chest. Okay, downward dog. Some of these are just flowing on your own. I love to see that. Don't forget you can do other sun salutations as well. On that inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Let's make our way to the front of our mat. If you have music, turn it up. And then let's put some heart and soul into that flow, okay? I want full body stuff. I want really breath work in the practice. But again, we don't want the breath stressful, all right? There's a big difference between strong, breath and like stressful breath. So even though the breath is strong, there's this element of watching it for getting too kind of like, we don't really want to like hyperventilate, even though that can be healthy at certain times. We don't want the breath to be like, to like have like a really strong stress response. It's deep, powerful, and controlled. So you got to control that power in the breath, just like to control the power in the body. It's not like we're lashing out in the body, but there's a lot of like power activation. It's a fine line, all right, of where your breath crosses into like a stress response versus a breath that's going to invigorate and energize. Exercise can give you a lot of energy, or it can use a lot of energy. It depends on things like sleep and emotions, and a lot of other factors, right? But, just some food for thought as we go through practice. That's what we're here doing. We're studying, okay? Downward dog, yogis. Downward dog. So some of you are still kind of going in that posture. Now we're going to try something. Remember I said today's a little bit more of like a kriya practice. I'll try to give an easier exercise if you can't do this one, but watch me here. You might want to shorten your stance when you're back in dog. Look how I widen my feet. So my feet are mats with distance. I'm actually going to bring my hands a little closer together. So my hands are about 6, 8, maybe 10 inches apart. Watch here. Inhale. I'm going to exhale, reach my right hand to my outer left ankle. We are not going to hold. Inhale, neutral dog. Exhale, left hand toward right outer ankle. Yeah, so again, exhale, right hand toward left outer ankle. What I try to look for, yogis, is what are positions we're always holding. We need to be aware of that all space in body forms are just as important as other space. If we prefer this part of a squat to this or this, we are creating certain patterns. That is what leads to like injury. This kind of over-sitting one position 8 hours a day, and then you get up, you're not good at standing or bending over, and that's how you get hurt. In a sense, that plays a big role in yoga. What postures do we always hold? Let's start to move a little bit more in them. What postures do we always move around in? Middle space. Let's hold middle space more. All right, so just some philosophy of how I approach some of these different choices in class. All right, now go slow. Back to our downward dog. Hands, hips width distance, shoulder width distance. Now, this is a tough movement, guys. So we did do this the other day. I do want to practice, it's like a squat here. Couple options. I'm going to bend my knees, lift my heels, try to keep my spine long. Arms stay straight. They call this active child pose. My knees are hovering. Exhale, straighten legs, press heels toward floor.
Inhale, bend knees, hips go back, 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 back. Exhale, hips back up. The hips are still always going up and back. So another option here, guys, watch me. You can do it from plank if you want more. So I do the same thing. Okay, if you want like the big crazy version, we do it from low plank. If you'll watch me, I start in low plank. I stay low, I stay low, I stay low. Arms straight, active child. I stay low, I stay low. Bent arm, plank. Hovering child, bent arm, plank. So there's 3 variations. Easier to middle ground, plank, to stronger, okay? You do what you need to do. If you don't want to do any of it, sit and meditate. The yogis always say it's like, if you want to skip the beginner, the exercise, the physical body, go right to the advanced exercise of your character and your mind and your emotions. Just sit and meditate. Skip the beginner stuff, any exercise, and go right to the inner work, okay? All right, guys, listen, take a break there, down to your knees, rise. Now, fantastic exercise for the front line. Not easy. I need the feet parallel, shins parallel. So this is like a lean back. What I don't want to see is this or this. It is not camel. It is not this. What I'm going to try to do is keep the plane of the knees, hips, and shoulders. I'm going to press the top of my feet down. I'm going to lean back a little. Okay, now look, I'm not here. I'm not here. I'm trying to be right in that middle space. I got to press my feet down. Now, some of us have like maybe knee irritation. Maybe you're doing things like basketball, you're jumping, or jogging, right? Where the knee is taking a lot of impact in a very repetitive kind of plane and form. So this is actually really good for the building of the knee for someone like that. But the process has to be taken very kind of increments, small doses. So you want to lean back a little. And you got to try to press your feet down, squeeze your butt and your thighs, okay? And then notice how I'm pausing, and then I'm going to come back up, exhale. Notice how nothing changes from knees to really shoulders. My arms go forward because I want a little counterbalance. You don't have to do that, but I think it feels a little better to me. Now, what I'm noticing is my left leg is straining more than my right. So what I'm going to do personally is try to activate my right leg a little bit more. Yeah, now I'm pushing down for that right leg. There's a little bit more of that kind of symmetry and tension. And that's in every exercise, yogis. Do you do chair? Your right leg burns more than your left. Start shifting a little bit more weight in that left. That's always kind of a good rule to look at. Where does like my body compensate a lot? All right. Just some more kind of just thoughts as we go through this kind of work. All right, so let's keep going here, yogis. Still in movement, active form. We are going to actually do another set of that in a moment. So now this next one's not easy, but I want to instruct it. We haven't done it in a while. The movement is from high plank to dolphin. Now, I am realizing I forgot to give you easier versions earlier when I said I would. All right, so let's start in plank. Now watch what I do. Now, if you can't do this, you're just gonna bend your elbows a little bit, lift your hips up and back like you're going to dolphin, then you're gonna straighten the plank. So just a little bit more kind of like breaking down smaller movements in space. So this is the more of the full move. I go really slow. Now, if you want like extra challenge, you hover like 1/4 inch and then back up, plank. So we're here, hover, plank. I'm doing it a little fast, just so you can like see it well. Now, for those of us who really have trouble with this, I'm gonna bring my hips up and back, keep my heels lifted, bend my elbows, hug them in, hug them in, hug them in, and then back up to plank, okay? Here, 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 here. If it's easy, dolphin, plank, dolphin, plank. Try it, have some fun, yogis. If you can't do it, you bend the elbows 1 inch. If you can't do that, just bend your elbows mentally, okay? Don't worry, just holding plank, lifting your hips up a little, bending a little bit like that. boom, boom. That's enough. You don't have to do the super crazy range and strength.
This type of yoga, guys, where we really use yoga as our main physical exercise, it's like a sport, right? And really you're competing against your ego. So don't let the ego, control that, guys. It's a big thing in yoga. The Buddha said the ego is the second main cause of suffering in existence. The ego is always going to have expectations. It's always going to do the comparison drama. It's always going to, you're not good enough. It's, all that stuff. So let's drop down to our knees. Now, this is really good for your legs. I want you to really step into this and focus. And just to reiterate, this is really tough, awkward, almost painful in the beginning. With practice, you feel the front line tension. Feet parallel, knees parallel, like train tracks, like a Z. You see how I'm like a Z? Exhale. Go ahead. Just, you try to get to like 6. Now, if I was like a real beginner there, I would say let's do 3 rounds and let's see how your body feels tomorrow or the day after. I wouldn't really even jump right into 6. It's kind of like a test. It's like a food allergy test, or like you're, I think it's something like you're in the woods and foraging for mushrooms. You would take like the tiniest taste to see if it's poisonous. You're not gonna like eat a whole bunch the first day. You're gonna like test it, see how you feel, and then, oh, it's edible, it's good for me, I'm gonna eat more. So same thing for this exercise. You're new to it, 3 to 6, you're feeling good, 6 to 9-ish, 12, right? So, and holding more. So if you're good, you slow it down, pause, work like quality contractions through your core and glutes and legs, and then you come up slower. So it's like you add a little bit more depth, a little bit more holding, and rest as you get better. All right, here we go, guys. Down to the chest. So we're doing some different things today, guys. You gotta listen closely for this one, all right? So I'm gonna reach my arms forward like I'm holding an imaginary block. I want you to just listen. Don't look at the screen because you cannot see this. I want you to put your forehead on the floor. Now, I want you to press your feet down, engage your thighs, and your pubic bone down. Remember, the pubic bone is the front of your pelvis, right above your genital area, the bone there. I want you to push your pubic bone down, your feet down, engage your legs. Your knees are gonna hover. Your feet press down, your pubic bone presses down, your knees hover, because you're activating. I also want you to pull your abdomen in as much as possible. Your abdomen hovers, your knees hover. Now, lift your arms, okay? So your knees are hovering, your abdomen is hovering, your feet are down, your pubic bone is pushing down, and your arms are hovering. Hold. Take a breather. Now, if you want more challenge, we do this with a block, between the hands too, but you don't hold the block, you squeeze it. I'm just giving you the beginner form with no block. Listen, press your feet and pubic bone down, activate your thighs, knees hover. Your feet stay down. Pull your belly in as much as possible. You should be able to slide your hand under your abdomen. Now, push your forehead and your chest stays down. Lift your arms. Straighten your arms, yogis. Your thumbs are face up. Lift your arms, straighten your arms. Your feet are down. Your knees hover. Your pubic bone is down. Push, push down. Your abdomen hovers. Your chest and forehead are down. Your arms hover. Hold, hold, hold. And take a rest. Is anyone doing this? I can't tell. Okay. One more round. It's really good stuff, guys. All right. So again, press your feet down, your pubic bone down, knees hover because you activate your thighs. Pull your belly in, hover your arms. Remember, your forehead is down. Okay. So the only thing hovering is your arms, your abdomen, and your knees. Your forehead, chest, there are more advanced versions, but we're starting here. You should hopefully be able to feel what we're trying to do. It is subtle, but it does really expose as you get into this more,
Okay, now big inhale. Take a breather there. Quick dynamic exercise. I want to bring my arms wide. Next exercise, that's 3 rounds. We're good there. Arms go wide. Okay, I need the arms to the T. Watch what I'm going to do. Left foot around behind me. It's like my left foot's reaching for my right hand. I said it's like. You don't need to force that. Back to your chest. Nice chest, ribs, abdomen, thigh, hip massage. Right leg up and over. That is a really big stretch, guys. Okay, back to your chest, left leg back and around. Back to your chest, right leg back and around. Side to side, a few more times. You know, guys, I know like this is like, it's called like dynamic stretching, moving stretching, but really it's an active practice. Any movement is really considered active in general, unless it's like, the only way your body moves is muscle activation. The only thing, like, there's only like one cell in a female that moves without muscle activation. It's like a white blood cell, types of white blood cells, and there's 2 in men, right? So white blood cells and sperm, they move without like a muscle contraction, like a big muscular contraction. Digestion is muscular, blood is muscular, you know, bones moving in space is all muscular, obviously. So really any movement is kind of active. So even though this is like stretching, it still is like active. Okay, so the next exercise, I'm gonna keep going because we only got a few more minutes of strong. Now, here's something really fun. A lot of us are gonna wanna do it on the knees. A lot of us are gonna tuck the toes and hover the knees. Now, what we're gonna do, guys, you gotta be extra vigilant on body awareness. Elbows hugging, I gotta work cat. So round, hover thighs, hips. Listen, press through your hands. Hover your chest, whole body, 1 inch. So it's the lowest hovering plank you can possibly hold. Okay, big inhale, all the way down. Remember how I said we're practicing space? You don't practice often. Where are we lacking awareness? The development in the body. Hover 1 inch, everything hovers. Don't forget you can do it on the knees. The chest, the abdomen hover like 1/4 inch. You're hovering so low, you're levitating. Take a breather. 3 more. Hover 1 inch. Whole body hovers 1 inch. Oh, you got to shift more forward, guys. Your elbows got to be over your wrists. Again, we get into this pattern where we're kind of like this. I'm going to be here. Okay, now take a breather. Sunday fun day in yoga, right? Hover 1 inch. Go for it. Go for it. Come on, hold. Hold for 5. Come on, you got 4, 3. Hold, hold, hold. 2. Shift more forward. 1. Take a breather. Last round. This is fun, right? Hold, hover, hover. Hover 1 inch. Hold for as long as you can. Shake, lose it. Go crazy a little bit. We got to make sure we go crazy a little bit in yoga, guys. Can't get too like tame, right? Let's lower down to our chest. Take a little breather. All right, so now we're going to do the locust work. So peak extension, we're going to do quick balance, quick inversion, and then we're in stretch class. All right, so this is where our active back bends are. We're not going to do wheel, all right? So we got a couple options here. If you want to go big, you can move your arms forward. You want to go crazy, block between your thighs and your hands, all right? So if it's too much, hands here, you want a more shoulder stretch. We did something like this in the beginning, but always good to add extra doses if you're feeling tight in the chest, the back. So point the toes, we're gonna go right for it. I wanna do hold now. Let's lift our chest and our arms. All right, yogis, I want you to let that one settle in. That's how you're gonna build muscle strength. Muscle memory happens faster, let's say, the longer you hold. If you go into a posture and are quick to exit, you will not develop strength fast. The body is memory, everything. Your identity, your strength, your like hormones. It's all like this kind of like memory pattern that kind of keeps reprinting. This information, how does the cell die and another one goes in its place in the same function? It's like memory.
All right, so take a little breather. Listen, relax your arms down by your side, palms face up, big toes touch, heels fall apart. Bring your left ear on the mat. So what I want you to do is take like a rest, a full rest, because locust is really intense if you're going for it. So take a moment, a big inhale in your nose, maybe a nice big exhale out the mouth. So yogis, what are we doing? We're rewriting our memory. Because a lot of times other humans, adults, belief systems, the TV, celebrities, they're like basically creating our information memory. So we like, our patterns in our life create physical memory. So we're basically deciding now the memory, the information, knowledge our body holds and emits. So this is like the physical stuff though, right? So let's come back to the chest. Now, second option, if you did here, another nice option is to try here with your legs like a little bit wider. So I like to cue you to do legs together because there's your lateral plane. If you didn't do legs together, how about you try legs together now? Really squeeze them together. And now let's lift everything up for our second round. Yeah, now lengthen the back of your neck a little bit, guys. Try to relax a little bit. Like you're tensing, but not overstraining. That's a big thing I teach. It's like 60% strain. There's a heavy dose of you're chilling. You know, you're hanging out in intensity and activation. So can you activate your body, but also be relaxed? Learning to be calm in chaotic environment is called yoga practice, okay? Big inhale, lift higher. You're gonna lower down slowly on your exhale, palms face up, down by sides, big toes touch, heels fall apart. Second ear on mat, getting a nice little neck stretch. If I have to pick a functional strengthening back bend, I'd probably pick this, okay? I pick it over bridge. Bridge is more like therapy. Up table and reverse plank, a little bit very strenuous for the average person, but this is really fantastic, guys, okay? It's gonna connect your postural muscles better. So last round, if you wanna try something a little bit different, you could kind of bend your elbows, so like 90 degrees, and bend your knees. So everything is like a 90 degree. You could also do what we call like a moving one. I pull my elbows back, I squeeze my heels to my butt, point my toes. I inhale forward, notice everything is still lifted. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, it's an option, guys. You can just do normal, all right? Don't look at the screen. Feel and focus on your body. Nice, Jamie, little pulse. I like that. I like when I see you guys just getting intuitive. You know, I don't want to get like too many options, but there's so many different ways to do this, especially as you're like developing it. Mainly just start by like holding the muscles in tension and compression strength. So, and then you add like things like pulsing or more dynamic movement, more asymmetries, more kind of, you know, other joints involved in the movements, like I just showed you with the arms and the knees bending. All right, so let's take a little break here, guys. We're gonna press back to child pose. So 3 big back bends after twist. So it was front line, huge transverse lateral body, and a huge back line, all right? Now, listen guys, we're here at the end of our strength class. I'm gonna give a couple options. We are gonna stretch as a group, so let's not stretch yet. If you wanna do headstand, handstand at the wall, any last like arm back, you wanna do like side plank, you wanna do one last kind of strong arm thing, I do that in most classes. I pretty much always do side plank in my practice. It's very unique, great for side, core, shoulder, groin, outer hips. So side plank, headstand, handstand. But if you know you need like more balance, you know, only limited time in class today, if you wanna just stand up and do a tree, if you wanna stand up and do a warrior tree, if you wanna do a big posture of standing bow, if you wanna do, how about 2 minutes in the final kind of strength option? So I gave a side plank, it might be good because We were in the front and back body a little extra today. But I wouldn't stretch right now. Like I gotta say that because I'm gonna give you a lot of stretches. So last poses. Now, if you're doing handstand, I set up the wall. It's really nice, guys. You face your back to the wall. Your hands are about a foot from the wall. You gotta go big and jump and get those heels up there. All right? And then you're gonna work on straightening those arms, pulling the ribs in, pointing those toes, activating your butt and your thighs and your calves, and pulling those ribs in. So it is full body. You can do forearm balance against the wall. Headstand A is where you cup the back of your head. What I see a lot in headstand yogis is the forehead is down. It's more of like the front of the top head. I actually would prefer to see it on the crown. There's a posture called Kapasana. It's forehead stand. You should be able to hold headstand for at least 10 minutes before you do Kepa. So butterfly, it's one of the king postures. It's forehead stand. And I see like, for some reason, like the newer people to headstand have a tendency to go on the forehead, okay? So it's a crown. Forearm balancers, a lot easier doing your thing. I love to see it. I'm just kind of giving you more feedback and just thoughts about these postures. Nice, Beck. Nice, Kev. Yeah, Leslie. Ooh, Leslie's on her balance board. I love it. Nice, Jamie. Creative practice. Nice, Dawn. Nice, Sam, Steven. Yeah, and Jeff's giving himself a little massage. Nice. Nice, Susan. How about we say a good another minute and a half because you guys are having fun. 15-minute stretch is totally enough anyway, right? Yeah, so another 2 or 3 minutes, free practice. Let's get going. What are you working on? You know, I would say like you could work on a big flexibility posture that is strength-based, but I am going to give those options. We are going to do splits today, all right? So you don't got to go there. I also am going to teach plow as a group. So you don't really need to go to shoulder stand. I didn't mention that one on purpose. So if you want to do a power inversion, now is the time. So let me see, you got 2 more minutes. Come on. Ooh, nice, Beck. Ooh, nice, Jeff. Ooh, nice, Sam. Looks good. Ooh, yeah, a little moving side plank. Everyone's looking good. Some of you are starting to unwind. That's good to see. So a lot of that stuff we did, yogis, and those like, you know, those like small little exercises, it's hard to include those in vinyasa classes where we're doing that flow. We've done a lot of that this week, right? If you were with me, you know, we've been doing a lot of sun salutations, a lot of kind of like step forwards and step backs and combining postures. But today was more of that kind of kriya hatha style. It's kind of like an exercise side to side. It's almost like you know how people do like a gym workout, an exercise side to side, a couple rounds, or it's almost like a circuit. It's like an exercise, another exercise, and a different body part back to that exercise. I really like to do yoga like that. I find I develop a different layer of awareness as opposed to vinyasa. I do like vinyasa, but to be honest, not really as much as that style personally. So, you know, you have to make your own choice there. I try to do both. I would like to get a true vinyasa class on the schedule because I don't have one where I set up big, complex flows. We take time to learn it. You turn up your music and then you flow in it. And I let you like loosen it. It's a big dance movement practice. Vinyasa is movement-based yoga. All right, guys, so I'm gonna keep going forward. So we have our stretch time here. We got 15 minutes to stretch. All right, first stretch. Sit on your butt, widen your legs. It's hard to beat this one. There's really not that many substitutes for gracilis, if you know that muscle, right? The posterior adductor groin and medial hamstring, the membranosus. 3 parts, sit up tall. Remember we were standing, we were going like this? Now, right hand down, left arm up. Double psoas traction. Just notice, yogis, root my left sit bone down, blanking through my heels, left arm reaches up. Okay, so I'm not really going like this as much as I am here to start. Spiral your chest up,
Lengthen your right side body, root your sit bones down, and engage your legs. Practice making it a meditation. Being calm, present, initially very subjective, feeling more, eventually more objective, watching, witnessing more. You know, I love that idea. If you can't explain something very simple, you don't really understand it, right? And I think about this a lot because a lot of this stuff seems very complex, especially like meditation, right? So let's come back to center, left hand down, right arm up. Now, I like to say hand inside more because if my hand's back, that tends to turn that chest down. So the hand inside the knee gives us a little bit more kind of ability to, what I feel is lift the chest up and open, okay? And then that right arm goes up and open. Now, I didn't say it, but the first part's really reach here. With, you know, you're gonna go here actually too, but that's more like the second part. So it's a big side stretch in your straddle. Last couple breaths. So, you know, if I had, you know, since it's today's Sunday meditation, I mentioned it earlier. It's like, it starts as it's just practice being calm in any situation. You know, that is meditation, a lifestyle of meditation, not just a practice. Yoga and meditation start as like a practice, like an hour of your day, but then it's kind of like you hear this idea of take it off your mat, and you apply this stuff, you know, body awareness as you're in the kitchen a little bit. It doesn't have to be like your main focus, but you know, breathing, is that going more off the mat? Being calm in situations and chaos when you're driving. Okay, let's go back to center and last part, forward bend, please. Now, again, here I want to try to encourage a little bit longer spine. That's that same idea as here, and then you bend more. It's longer, active spine from the most active intentional length. We can create a little bit of softness and rounding, as long as that is very clear, understood that length kind of precedes the bending. All right, now I want to keep this going. We're going to sit up, shake our legs out. So think opposites. Our legs were wide, straight, feet were flexed, we were going forward. Now we got to do the front line release. This is biggest front line release of class, the Virasana. Not many substitutes for this one here, guys. Only really advanced yoga postures. The only real substitute I could think is maybe like restorative bridge, but it's still, I wouldn't say the same, all right? So knees go together. Now, the knees go together, yogis, okay? I'm gonna slowly widen my feet just enough to sit between the heels. Here's one of the original 30 yoga poses. They opened up this Indian vault and this Indian temple that was closed, sealed for like 1,600 years, and it's the oldest documented yoga poses ever found. It's a small list that was actually tore, so they think there was more, but the Virasana was on that list. So knees go together, heels right outside your hips. Look at that. I can't really put my hands because they're right outside those hips. Look at the feet, top of the feet are down, all right? My pinky toes down. And for this one, guys, if you have a bolster, if you have a blanket, a block, let's put it behind us and lay back. And I need you to let this settle in, okay? Some of us can, you know, bring our hands more forward and then release to the head. With practice, you're gonna release to the upper back. Yes, my lower back is arching. That's normal, okay? Eventually, your forearms will cross above your head, and then you just hang out and breathe. Try to relax. Now, if this is like too much on the knees, you stay upright, you sit on a block. If it's still too much on the knees, a nice substitute, guys, is to lay on your chest like this and go like this. Now, what I want to do, though, is press my pubic bone down, pull my heel to my butt. All right, that's a nice, let's say, substitute. Close your eyes. Let it settle in for a few more breaths.
The main thing we're watching for, yogis, is pain directly in the knee, like the front, inside, outer, underneath. There is a little bit of pain associated with stretches that you're tight in. You know, distinguishing the difference between like types of pain, it's not easy. And we don't want to get in the habit of, if every time a posture is a little uncomfortable, of leaving immediately. Sometimes like a little bit of adjusting instead, you know, like a lot of times I'll be in a stretch, I do these little adjustments, like, you know, I shift my knees a little bit, I shift my feet a little bit, I kind of, a functional fidget, let's call it, and then a little, some of that uncomfort or unnecessary pain is reduced a lot. So we don't want to like get into a pose, oh, it hurts a little bit, and label it bad, I can't do it, won't do it, okay? We want to be a little bit more open-minded and explorers in it, okay? And try to find a way, adjust. How can we be intuitive in the body to create a clearer path? Is there something I could do or am doing that's making it uncomfortable that could make it more comfortable? And that's a long process, and really it probably never ends because your body is always changing via your life, right? So keep an open mind here, guys. Let's keep going here, yogis. Let's sit up nice and slow. Now, just take a quick breather here. I'm going to bring the back of my hands down now. So a quick wrist stretch. You can do it sitting on your heels, or you could do it on tabletop. Basically, the idea is like, first you work minimal weight bearing. So the back of my hands are down. You see that? Palms face up, fingers face backward. And then you apply more weight, right? In the strong, crazy yoga classes, we hold plank on the back of the wrists, right? We'll even do push-ups. In the advanced yoga classes, we do side plank on the back of the wrist. We actually do handstand on the back of the wrist. But it's just to give you the visual that we keep applying more weight to more open kind of like joints, okay? Just like anything, you're lifting at the gym, oh, you get good at bench pressing 30 pounds, you add another 5 more, okay? Oh, you get good at 35, you add 5 more. And it's these increments of weight, you know, and more balance and more full body in yoga, okay? So hopefully the back of your wrists are down, you're feeling the stretch, you're straightening your elbows a little bit more. All right, yogis, so I want you to take your time there. Now, what I'm going to do is the big splits today. We haven't done it in a while. If you don't want to do splits, you can do laying on your back with the strap stretching. That's a really nice variation. So you lay on your back, you feel that strap around your right foot, you pull. Beautiful. But if you want to go a little bit bigger, you might want your blocks. You're going to come to the tabletop. We're going to step our right foot forward. Now, this whole journey starts in half split. What I want to work in half split is pressing my feet down. When I had this epiphany, it was probably like 2013 or 12, I felt deep in meditation in class. I used to go to yoga so much, like twice a day. I lived in the yoga room, right? I taught and practiced so much. So I really gained this next level of awareness in the room where I could just surrender. I started to press my right heel down, an anterior tilt. No one really taught me that. I just felt it, and now I teach it. So I press the right heel down, and I stick my tailbone up and away. I don't even have to forward bend here. I feel it in very intense stretch. I'm pressing my front heel down, pulling my right hip back, and anterior tilting. So I'm thinking cow, not rounding, arching, sticking your tailbone up. Now, if you want a lot more, you're going to go for full splits. I love to do half split before full split. It really helps full split not be so dramatic. So I got my hands on my blocks. I'm kind of walking my right foot forward now, or sliding my back foot back. And I'm starting to come towards full splits. Now, a nice way to do this, yogis, is to take one of those blocks on a height that'll support your right upper thigh, lowest glute, a meditation. Another nice thing to do is to go here. Now, just to be clear, I am not teaching pigeon stretch today. If you'd rather do pigeon now, do it. I personally I understand the importance of pigeon. I T-band, glute, sacrum, compression, but people don't apply that same logic to the other side of that muscle, the front thigh. So I'm not going to do pigeon stretch. I'm not going to do the lateral rotation and flexion. If you want to do that, now is a good time. Otherwise, you got the last couple breaths on your first side. And just to be clear, I want to be honest with you guys. I'm not really going to force hip stretching for me. I used to go to do splits on both sides. I'm kind of letting that go. Yeah, that hurts my ego. You know, I go into class, I'm a yoga teacher, I can't do splits. But I don't want to get to the point where I'm doing the joint strain. I gave up my quest to be for Cirque du Soleil. That's okay. So I don't need to do full splits. Will I work them? Yes, but I'm not going to force them. Okay. I can get down there on a good day still, but the idea is, guys, let's be gentle on our joints. All right, let's not get obsessed with the deep. Unless you're feeling really good and you want that, that's okay too. All right, so let's do our second side. Some of these are kind of on your own, on your strap stretching. That's cool. Left foot forward. So we're basically going to do this, a quick twist, and then our plow, and we're done with our big stretch class today. All right, so left hip back. Look at my hips over my back knee. So I'm not really here, even though that is a variation. This is going to allow me to more easily anterior tilt and spinal extension. So left hip back, that's lateral tilt. Press left heel down, left heel down, left heel down. That is enough to stretch adequate, okay? But more is to anterior tilt. Press heel down, anterior tilt, press heel down, lengthen chest forward. Breathe, 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 okay? After a few more breaths, I'm trying to give you about a minute and a half at least in each side. You're gonna eventually slide your front foot forward, your right foot back. Just notice, as I'm in half split, I'm forward and down. As I'm in full split, my chest is upright. So there's a very big difference there. I slide my block under. I actually forgot to say this, but if you're working, I saw a couple of you were working this, your arms go up, but look at my back toes tuck, back knee. I have to reposition my block a little bit, but back knee might start to hover actually, okay? So I'm going into this active split. You see that? I'm just like lifting it up and down so you can see. So there's a nice variation of what I would say is a more healthy approach towards split. Let's not just go passive for years and years and years and stretching and splits. Let's start to activate as you get more flexible, particularly. Nice, Kev. Nice, Jamie. Nice, Sam. I'm not gonna lie though, if you want to get flexible, just do splits like regularly, like that. Put a block under and just sit there and breathe and hold it like 5 minutes per side. You do that like every day for like 6 weeks, you won't even recognize your hip flexibility. It is one of like the ultimate supreme stretches. So you want to get flexible, do that, guys. It is a game changer, big time. Yeah, but it's all just about like repetitive consistency, okay? So you can do a challenge for yourself. Good time to start at New Year's. You want to get flexible? Remember these postures we just did, okay? Now, I want you to keep going. This side a little bit less demo, a little less explaining. So I want you to kind of, with your timing, maybe you need another 30 seconds. I'm just going to start demoing what's next. Now, final seated stretch here is the big twist. If you want to lay on your back and do this, that is big enough. That suffices for the big twist of class. Now, if you want to do a seated, right heel in outside the left knee. If you know the double bent knee, you can, but I'd rather have you have good posture and not lateral tilt. So I tend to teach left leg straight. Sit bones down, chest lift. Right heel outside left knee. Right hand behind. Big inhale. Left arm up. Maybe hug. Lift chest. Extension. Twist. Rotation. Breathe, breathe, breathe. if you want arm outside, just be careful because that's going to round. Okay? Sit up, and then twist. So it's more like my upper forearm on my knee for my anatomy as opposed to my tricep. Okay? Deep breathing, guys. Now, some of you are still catching up. You know what to do. You kind of just take your time and do this at your pace. Big inhale. When you're done with that first side, let's take our second side. Twist our stretches we might want to be aware, hold a little bit less, okay? Left heel outside right knee, right arm up, and twist. Some options, guys, like I said, hand outside knee. This is another nice one where the forearm goes around. And I still, so instead of like elbow outside thigh, it's like the forearm kind of wraps around almost the highest front part of the knee, and I kind of go here. So just a little different variations can create different stretches and how it stimulates your tissues, body part. So just a little kind of idea there. There's also binds, if you know how to do that stuff, where the hand goes inside. So it's this final twist of class. Now I know we're running a tiny bit past. We're gonna go to 10:20 today, all right? We are gonna make sure we do our full meditation sequence today. And but I do wanna save you a last minute for deep symmetry, splits asymmetry, and then the twist is asymmetry. I wanna bring it back to one more symmetry. If you wanna do restorative bridge or fish, that's cool. But I'm gonna take it to plow, so deepest forward bend in class. We never had like a super deep forward bend because a lot of us are so restricted here, you don't really get to come forward. So our final pose, if you wanna do happy baby or reach, sit, touch your toes, sitting, that's fine. Or the big gun here, it is a reverse crunch. We didn't do like ab isolation today, arms down. I teach a lot of this, where we do this, guys, because it helps you go like this a lot more kind of skillfully. So the back of my neck is lengthening, my hands come to my lower back, I'm supporting my hips. All right, so with practice, you're gonna bring your feet to the floor behind your head, and you're gonna take a few breaths there. Now, always enter and exit slow. Remember that this is usually considered one of the more or most dangerous yoga postures because you are bearing weight on your neck in kind of a moving form. Your neck is not used to bearing weight, especially in such a hyper range. All right, so, you know, but really, guys, it's the risk reward, you know, that's everything. It's like, you have to monitor, like, how much risk can I, you know, withstand or hold to get some reward from that space. That's like all yoga poses. Like, yeah, chair pose, there's gonna be, you know, it's good reward and minimal risk, but then you have postures like this where there's much higher risk, but much different and kind of unique reward, let's say. So you always have that kind of risk reward management in yoga. It's really important to kind of just be aware of, and in a riskier posture, go slower, be aware that it's riskier, but it also does have those fruits that it yields, okay? So listen, guys, we're gonna start setting up for meditation here. I can't go too long with the exercise. We wanna get to the deeper realms of the practice. So now for today's meditation, when you're done there, I want you to just kind of release, shake it out a little bit, neutralize there. You can do a fish posture. I know a lot of people love doing fish after that, that Ashtanga variation. I don't really ever do fish that much. It's a cool posture, but I like restorative fish a lot more. So we're going to start setting up for our meditation position. All right, yogis. So
I want you to get comfortable. You're more than welcome to lay. If you don't want to do active meditation, you're just gonna do passive. You can take a shavasana. That's totally enough. It's totally actually considered like one of the supreme forms of meditation is to just not do much. But over the years of practicing and studying meditation with a lot of different teachers and styles, so I've gone to the neuroscience, I've gone to the Buddhists, I've gone to the Kundalini, I've gone to the Qigong, the Tai Chi, the acupuncturists. I've gone obviously to the yogis, the different forms, the kriya, and I keep trying to be more well-rounded. Now, what I've done is taken a lot of little pieces and created my own little system for my meditation. I kind of think of it as like 4 or 5 stages. So what I'm going to do is lead you through that. Now, we did this in the 4th week. This is, I think, the 17th or 18th week doing our meditation Sundays. I did this like the 4th week, and I want to revisit it because I really use this a lot, and I use the pieces of this a lot, sometimes just individually. All right, so let's find our seated position. I like to sit on a block. I don't play the game of I have to sit on the floor. Okay, I want to be comfortable. It is not about physical challenge. If the body hurts, it'd be very unlikely that your mind will settle. Okay, so our first objective is to kind of get comfortable. Now, in this stages, my first thing is just to ground and center. So how do I do that? I get comfortable. I shake it out. So I just I start to become more still. I close my eyes. And really, that's the first stage. It's like grounding, centering, becoming more still. It's just settled, all right? And that's really the essence of meditation. Make sure you like loosen up too, because that's part of it. Like you don't want to be stiff and stuck, okay? So I shake my shoulders out. I position my hands somewhere where I can keep them, but also not bring much awareness there. I make sure I'm sitting up tall, bringing my sit bones down, but I am sitting in soft. And then the next thing I want to do in this kind of stages of this process is to connect internally to the, let's say, the body or the self. And I like to use the breath for it. It's like the most practical way for me to do it. So I focus my attention on my intention, which is now to slowly inhale, slowly exhale. Maybe ujjayi, maybe breath holding. So take a few moments here, connecting and feeling your breath. You can add 3-part breathing. Remember I said connect to the body, 3-part breath, abdomen, lower back, middle ribs, side bodies, upper back, upper chest, collarbones, and neck. So these 3 kind of parts of our torso and spine. So we grounded and centered. We're using the breath to connect, to feel. And that leads us in, that word feel, to the 3rd stage, which is very subjective. It's feeling, and this is where I start to bring the thoughts in. One of my main meditative practices is gratitude. I literally try to remember all the time. While you guys do shavasana, I usually close my eyes and do gratitude meditation. So I want to think of what I'm grateful for, guys. Practice emitting like a dopamine response. I practice remembering my blessings, all the people I have in my life. Man, I'm not sick, right? That isn't enough to remember how lucky we are. I remember my health, my career, my skills, my knowledge, beauty, whatever it is. We all have so many blessings. Step fully in to that and emit that. So you're internal, you're connected, you're grounded. Now you're stepping into this conscious gratitude. And you should start to feel tingling. Maybe you can run that tingling, your skin, the goosebumps. It runs up your spine. You start to feel goosebumps and all these kind of really unique feelings and sensations in the skull. The brain starts to you feel these euphoric type of ecstasy feelings. Practice like a endorphin, dopamine. There's a lot of other words for that, but it's a practice to emit that in the body. And I want to keep moving to get to the end part, not spend too much time in these parts we've done individually in class. We did our kriya breath, we did our grounding and centering, we did our subjective emotional. We had to bring the emotional body, but now objective. So remember, if someone said, how do you explain meditation? I would say a shift from subjective living to objective. All right? Now, objective. No more gratitude. You always keep that there, though. I want you to keep your eyes closed. Now, step back, practice being a witness, an observer. So it's almost like the witness. A witness is somebody who is outside watching. A witness to what? Your thoughts. So we were very deep inside a subjective thought experience. Now, see if you can almost step back and separate it. How I like to explain this is you're sitting back. As thoughts come into your mind, it's almost like you watch them. It's like a train passing slowly. One train car comes in front of your vision. You're sitting at the train crossing, and then you just watch it go away. But then probably another thought, a train car is coming. You watch it. You only watch it. You don't get involved. It's a practice. So this is an objective witness practice. So you're not experiencing so much as witnessing, observing. Take a few moments with that. So there is the stages. Now, last part, if there's something I'm working on in my life, if my emotions are off today, if I feel low on energy or stress, I would do an active meditation on this in this part now. That's the setup to get the inner body ready, the emotions, the chemicals, the mind state, the observer, the experiencer, all involved inside. Now, I would honestly, guys, if I needed to work on something mentally, intention, shifting in energy, I would do that now. But mainly, I want to bring it to like a passive. I don't want to do too much in the mind. I want to also allow space and meditation practice for my mind to rest. So we've done all that. Maybe stay as the witness. Witnessing is establishing the witness is one of the main practices of internal mental yoga. Now, I just want you to sit. As thoughts come, continue that process of letting them pass. Unless you're choosing today, like say somebody was in my life that needed energy, I would meditate on them, right? Someone's sick, someone's troubled. You send them energy. You go into like a meditative state with visualizing them feeling good. I'm not going to go into that today, but my back hurts. I'll meditate on the back, okay? But just some food for thought. A lot of times, I don't want you to be too busy. Passive meditation. Let your mind relax now. If thoughts come, remember the observer, okay? Unless it's your intention to delve deep into something. We're going to take a few minutes here to close out meditation practice. 5 minutes. Close your eyes, please. Let go.